Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. I'm your host, Leafy Potato, and welcome again to yet another different event. I figure I cast a lot of ranked 1v1, but I don't cast that many regular games. So here is a change of pace. I join in late, 18 and a half minutes, with a bank of $1,000. It seems like at least the previous orange had some eco going, so while he wasn't doing anything else, I at least had a wallet allowing me to immediately start my housing empire. Already allied, it seems to be a 3v3. Purple and blue doing well across the map. Purple says, can I help kill off red? I say, will do. It's gonna be a sec, because I want to get my economy up first. Now, if red saw me spawn in and did have his super doomsday force, probably would have been prudent to just go ahead and kill me. But, should have gone for the head. Anyways, I get a third worker out because I have enough wallet already to build all my houses and the generators I need. I just need to be able to do it more quickly, and I have some eco, so whatever my eco is really should just be continuously spent on workers to get to max quicker. Okay, so power block's going to be like the most obnoxious thing for me trying to build. This is really just, do I know how to build my command center quickly? I think I did a decent enough job. Let me real quick change over my music. There we go. Awesome, cool. Y'all can't listen to the music I'm listening to right now because it's copyrighted. Hell yeah. It's good shit though. And forgive me again, I've been on a profane kick. Apparently I just can't help but swear every single cast that I do today. Anyways, kicking back 20 and a half minutes into this game now, so I'm pretty passive. It's a bloody miracle that I'm alive, but apparently purple and blue have been enough of a threat to the enemy team that they don't feel like they can deal with me. This fourth worker is going to just go take the farm. Honestly, I should have taken the farm a little bit earlier if my job is just ecoing up. Farm's just cheaper eco. It's much faster to get 13 eco out of a farm than it is to get 10 eco out of a house. House takes a while to build. Farm doesn't take as long to build, and you can upgrade it in 3 seconds. So if you have money to spend, it's actually just faster to up your eco with farms. Not to mention, it's way more efficient than doing so with housing. But I digress. Okay. Not the most efficient use of my workers in the world. I'm gonna get power blocked here. I had 3 workers working on 1 generator. There is a diminishing returns effect with workers. The more workers you put on something, the less each additional worker contributes, right? So you'd think, you know, if I have 2 workers, they'd build something twice as fast. Actually, it happens to be 70% as fast. 3 workers you'd think would build 3 times as fast. It's actually 2.1 times as fast. So something to keep in note. Whenever you have workers needing to build a lot of things, it makes the most sense to split them up and get them all working on their own individual thing. They just build faster. I decided to go into air pads because that's probably the easiest way that I can be a massive menace to the enemy team. I didn't really look at what red had immediately. I dropped 2 air pads because I've still got a wallet and I just want to spend them quickly to get some choppers out on the map. Thinking that red was barely alive, I look over and he's got a massive air force. I decide, you know what? I'm going to drop a vehicle depot. I'm going to sell the air pad, but not before I get my money back from my choppers. Place that vehicle depot down. I need some anti-air so that if red looks over at me building units and decides to kill me, I'd at least take out a massive chunk of his stuff. But I've just spent like $1,000 in terms of housing and generators, and I prefer not to lose that all. So, yeah, double vehicle depot here because I'm terrified of red's air force. Anti-air is not going to be good at chasing choppers to kill them, but it is good at defending your base, right? They are just, if you want to think of them as mobile turrets, that's kind of what they are. It's like 2 turrets strapped to each other that you can have on the move. And because they cost population instead of power, it's just a little easier to mass them. You don't need workers to build them for 1, and for 2, whenever you do have your base under control, you can move your anti-air with choppers in order to fight an enemy air force. So, anti-air, not bad in this circumstance. Not what I would recommend your knee-jerk reaction be to a single chopper, but provided that the enemy's got a massive air force, yeah, if I can get like 6-7 anti-air and just like hide them in my CC, if he tries to go for a dive, he'll die. Right, red that is. So red's my immediate threat. My allies seem to have dealt with yellow, seem to have green under control. So I'm not that worried. I kind of joined into a winning game, so yay me. I get to continue the tradition of only posting leafy potato style W's in my channel because, well, yeah. I do lose games. In fact, the recent video on, or like the most recent 1v1 is me losing, so if that makes you feel any better. I do lose games. And now that I have a hospital up, I decided to take my choppers. It doesn't really matter if I take damage on them right now. I decided to take my choppers and whittle down Red's towers. That first one was just a tower I can engage by itself, so I am only getting shot at by one tower at a time. Very easy. It also just allows me to... It allows me to use my choppers while I'm building up my Air Force. Instead of having to sit them around doing nothing, they can be a threat. And the hospital can sort of pay for itself in terms of the damage it lets me do. Right, so now instead of I dealt damage to towers and I took damage on my choppers, it's I dealt damage to towers and I was able to sit back and repair all of it. Alright, so already done 50 damage to Red's static defenses, and I'm continuously building up my Air Force. Now I drop the second air pad because I could spend $192 a minute on just choppers per air pad, and I have 316 eco, so looking to spend all of my eco now on chopper production now that I have a hospital. And as I keep adding more and more choppers, I'll be taking less and less damage from each individual tower. Now Red's on the move. I think at first he's going to kill me, and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, nice knowing you. It seems, though, actually, that Red was moving more towards green. Which is where I, like, key into, okay, maybe green needs help, and Red's responding to green's help request. But no, Red parks at the intersection, so I'm still, like, wondering what's up. I'm just gonna sit at my hospital. I'm gonna get my HP back. When I'm at full HP, I'm gonna move out again, and I'm gonna hit one of his towers, and that's just gonna be that. And then I'll see if I can't kill some troopers, because there's no reason it'll just let them sit there. If he's not gonna have anything supporting them, I'll just go ahead, kill them, take minimal damage on my choppers, and then call it a day. Okay, so I move forward. I do lose a chopper, so sloppy micro. Hate to see it. But then I clear out the rest of Red's towers in my base. I have a little bit more breathing room here. Purple's got a transport copter of something coming over to me, and I don't exactly know what it is yet. Later in the game, I find out that at least Purple had a transport full of medics, so maybe those are medics. He says, Orange, come here. It seems... yeah, probably medics. Now, Red tries to go and help Green, but he just completely opened the lid for me to just swoop into his base. He's only got 2 towers here. He doesn't have a command center. He doesn't have any anti-air at home. All of the anti-air is with his army. He doesn't have any fighters. He has a single Hornet. He's got 2 towers stopping me from killing him, and I'm about to destroy both of them. Or at least one of them. Yeah, about to destroy both of them. Getting the upgraded air pads, so Red's production is going to be just out. I want the vehicle depot, though. I want the vehicle depot, I want the artillery. Air pads, whatever, you know. Choppers are annoying, but they're not that annoying. And if I have chopper superiority, or at least chopper AA, I can fight them. And then I'm just going to go ravage around his territory. So he's got uniform move on. He's highlighting his entire army and moving it together because his vehicles are very squishy. He has way more choppers than me right now, but that's going to change with time, as now he's kind of been surpassed in terms of eco. I have more ability to make choppers than he does. He has 2 air pads, and that's great. And blue, you see his Air Force is swooping in to go finish off Red. That is wonderful. That is awesome teamwork. Blue spots an opportunity to get some damage done, and Purple's even showing up to the party with a light tank, destroying a farm and a generator. So this is the kind of ally I want. I see I've got a lot of damage on my choppers now because I've been fighting into range of multiple towers. Yippee. Looking to place that second hospital. I'm not really fearing Red that much. He's got a lot of air units, and anti-air just so happens to barely outrange air, so especially if he's going to be group moving his stuff together and he doesn't dive my anti-air with his choppers, I can just kind of skirt here and have 6 anti-air shooting at his Air Force while only like 2 or 3 of his air units fire back at me. And so my anti-air takes minimal damage, and he loses multiple aircraft. So that's really good. I get a little ambitious here. He does manage to turn me around while I wasn't like on top of my anti-air micro, but I've already done so much damage to stuff, and now the tower's even getting in. His artillery's shooting away at me, and that's obnoxious, but like the only thing on the ground that he has to deal with my anti-air, well, he doesn't have a thing on the ground to deal with my anti-air. At this point, His air force has been thinned out enough. I can just fight my choppers into 3 anti-air and like an artillery, and then clear out his choppers, right? And I do just that. Red doesn't have a force. He has a very weak eco, if he has any at all, with which to recreate a force. Red is basically out of this game now. Purple shows up with fighters. Nice idea. I've got the hold. Right. Of course, I didn't communicate any of that to him, and for the most part, you don't expect somebody to hold something like that. But I take a great fight. Red leaves. Awesome. Great. Cool. 2 opponents left. Green and yellow. Yellow's been wiped off the face of the earth. That's awesome. So really, green is the only one left. We are in a completely winning position now. I have 3 hospitals here, just getting my army back to full strength as soon as possible. I don't want to be waiting around on the map for forever, or else green can make a play. Right, the longer that I have my units sitting in front of a hospital, the longer they aren't doing something. Like exerting control on the map, or destroying enemy farms, or shooting at valuable targets. Right, I want to have my units on the map so that they can do something of value for me. And so my hospitals are done healing now, and I'm just really quick taking my workers now that there's no opposition to me taking farms, and taking some more farms. Right, why not increase my economy just a little bit? And so my choppers and anti-air will start marching over towards green space. And notice I'm moving them separately. That's mainly just the uniform move, right? I can turn it off. That's not so much the problem, but my choppers, well, first off, they can fly, so they can take a path that my anti-air might not be able to the battlefield. And second off, because choppers are as fast as they are, even if the opponent decides to respond in full force with a composition that I need my anti-air to beat, I can just pull my choppers back and then meet up with the anti-air instead of very slowly marching forward, projecting my force only as fast as anti-air move. I can have at least some offensive threat immediately before my anti-air arrive. Now, I've decided I want to poke at the static defense a little bit for green, just provoke him just that bit. I don't lose a chopper yet. I'm trying to get his choppers to poke forward so that I can mess up his choppers with my anti-air. I do lose 1 anti-air immediately. He's got a ball of recons here, and I notice, yeah, his air force is just sitting on top of my anti-air, so my anti-air are going to get as much damage as they possibly can get done, and then we just dive the recons. Me and Blue both. Blue, honestly, such a homie. Shoutouts to Duke of Tactical. Plays better than I ever expected. Now, Green's got anti-air that was loaded up in a big transport, so me and Blue both run away. My workers apparently were not working on the research facility. Very sad. I get my command center queued up with workers. At some point, I'm going to want to walk forward, and I see Purple. Dude, Purple with the clutch. Mass heavy tanks over here. It would be nice if he brought some artillery as well. He's already got the medics, but like, just the mass heavy tanks alone allow me to push forward in a way that I otherwise couldn't. Now, I'm going to try to get this transport copter because Green keeps trying to pick up and preserve his anti-air. I want to deny him the ability to pick up. Right, so I'm going to dive really deep, and now Purple can pick off Green's anti-air however he pleases. I lose 7 choppers in the engagement, but Green is now no longer able to keep his anti-air safe from mass heavy tanks, so that's good. I probably could have done that a lot more elegantly than I did, but you know, whatever. Mission accomplished. Now, Purple's going to break his jaw on this static defense here. I don't understand exactly why we are charging into static defense with heavy tanks. They're not bad for breaking through lightly defended areas. They're just not ideal either. And you see I've got my workers working their way towards green space. I'm going to be taking farms as I go. And then whenever I do arrive, I want to place down a vehicle depot, move my hospitals to the front, and just start static defense creeping my way towards green space to just restrict his ability to move. As soon as green can't move, I'm pretty free to just sit back and wait the 2 minutes I need to for my vehicle depots to upgrade. And so, workers moving forward, choppers just gonna idle, right? Green's not offensively pushing me or anything. And I've got 6 workers already at the front. Great, awesome, groovy, grand, gravy. Life's good. Okay, choppers rallying to the front still. Research facility is done. Sell it to get a little bit of money back. Now we're going to place the magical 4 missile turrets that keep your base safe from dying. I've got 2 workers already made that I made in advance because I wanted to have some at my base so that when my missile research got done, I could make missiles. First thing after I make the vehicle depot, make a missile turret right next to it. So the only thing that green could do to break my position right now would be, well, something that can deal with 15 choppers and anti-air and missile turrets, which is going to not be the case. I sell my hospitals finally, and I do move them to the front. And then I start working at getting static defense down. I place a generator as well, and then you'll see me... Right now I'm building with all of my workers at once. That's not really useful, so I split them up. So after this hospital's done, they actually end up 2 on each, which is ideal for building 3 things like this. Okay, so... we're going to very quickly have a forward operating base. Purple keeps rallying in these heavy tanks. Blue's got heavy tanks himself. Blue also has some fighters. He's got ultimate late game comp. He's got artillery as well. So Blue can already start this push, which is just awesome. Green is fortifying his position yet again. I'm just going to move my workers now in 2 groups of 3, which is not that ideal. They lose a lot of their build power when you do it that way, but... you know, it just helps you build things a little faster than you could otherwise. Right, there is some value to having something done sooner. Okay, and then I'm gonna go and see about taking a farm and getting another vehicle depot down, because I can only spend, what's it, I think it's 296 a minute on heavy tanks. So if I'm producing heavy tanks to try to dissuade Green's ground army, there's that. And then I'll queue up an artillery immediately, and then I'll start making medics. And Green's base is under direct threat from Blue. Blue's got artillery and a whole bunch of medics, and they are just wailing away at the static defense here. And at some point, Green realizes that this is not a winning fight. He doesn't have any units on the ground, he has no real way to stop Blue, and he sells his command center. GG's. Shoutouts to Otto and Duke of Tactical, or Tactical, rather. Very well played. I was quite impressed with them. Anyways, if you've enjoyed this, I'd like to say thank you for watching. I hope that y'all have a wonderful day. And just a reminder to stay classy.